For all of your Bay Area sports news and updates, make sure to tune in to the Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show. It's coming up next, only on the national sports radio station live from San Mateo, California.
Hello everyone, welcome into Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show here on Spreaker.com. Alongside me, Steven Hughes. Steven, we haven't done this show in a while, but let's kick it off. The Giants are losing 5-0 right now against the Pittsburgh Pirates at AT&T Park. And, you know, the Giants, they did something they've done a couple things this offseason. They get a Dan Uggla and they get a Jake Peavy. I mean, Dan Uggla, what's up with Dan Uggla? Marco Scura, I know he's come off the DL, but I don't think Dan Uggla really contributes to the squad.
Hey, and thank you for let's get this show started with all we got. But look, the issue the Giants have had all season long is at second base. They've had an inconsistency in a starter. They've had, Brandon Hicks, who's now in AAA. They've had Joe Panic. They've had Marco Scrudo, who's now re-injured. And now Dan Uggla, who's making errors all the time. He made 3 errors in his first 3 games in a Giants uniform. There's obviously a huge issue at this position. I don't think the Giants will be able to afford another roster spot and trade for a second baseman, especially since second basemen are not really big in the market. Even if Chase Utley is on the market for the trade deadline in just 3 days, so we've heard about Jimmy Rollins maybe getting traded to the Giants, and he's going to shortstop. Maybe Crawford going to second. Just a wild idea, but that's probably not going to work. I think the Giants will have to stick with their second baseman, and they need to get something started. Brandon Hicks was a great answer for Marcus Scudero for his long-term injury. He hasn't. Marcus Scudero just recently came back, and Hicks did really well, but then his average started to dip. He wasn't hitting home runs, so we were trying to find Joe Panic. We were trying to mix in with Joaquin Arias a little bit in a way, but there's been no real answer at second base so far this year for the Giants.
And Joe, I think we put I think the Giants put a lot of pressure on young rookie Joe Panic, giving him a couple of starts. Right when he comes up, he has to get this start. And, he was kind of an inconsistent type of guy, but we go to Hicks. But the success of the Giants in that first half of the season, Brandon Hicks was having such a great season, and then it just falls apart. I know this guy strikes out a lot, but he got RBIs, he got doubles, singles, and even home runs. I mean, he wasn't a triple type of guy, but still, the Giants, I wish they would find an answer at second base. It's just been a big concern, but they did find an answer in the starting rotation. Matt Cain has been pretty much hurt this whole season, gets starts here and there. But then they bring a Jake Peavy in. He's 1-10. Well, he was 1-9 coming into the start against the Dodgers. Now he goes 1-10, and he just hasn't gotten run support. I don't think coming to the San Francisco Giants, I think he can help. I just don't know. I think he'll get about 5 wins by the end of the season.
Yeah, I feel like what the Giants did was big because Brian Sabean, he knew that from the extent of Matt Cain's injury that he's going to be this is going to be a long-term injury. This is going to affect us throughout the final stretch of the season. So we need to get another pitcher. And JPV definitely on the market, having a struggling year. He's a guy that his stuff has gone down. He's not the Cy Young Padre the Cy Young Award winner Padre who he had a 97 mile per hour fastball and gas guys. He throws 90, 92 at the max. And he's gonna have to, work with his pitches and try to get the fly out or the ground out. In Boston is a hitter's park, with the Green Monster and with the short porch and right, it's gonna be easy for you to give up a lot of runs if you give up a lot of home runs in a hitter-friendly park. He moves over to San Francisco. Tim Hudson was talking about this during Sunday Night Baseball with his little talk with Dan Schulman and John Kruk. He's saying that the transition from a hitter's ballpark to a pitcher's ballpark and from the American League to National is a whole different story. And Jake Peavy, I feel like with his performance last night, he felt really comfortable out there. He wasn't really feeling comfortable from what I saw in the couple of clips that I saw of starts with him against American League teams like the Blue Jays and the Yankees. The AL East is a power. They trust on batters. They trust on offense, and they trust on getting the runs to win the game. They want to get that starting pitcher out and go straight for the bullpen. For the National League, they play small ball, and they just for the National League side, they want to get their starting pitchers in as long as they can and get up the least amount of runs. It's a very different story. JPV, I feel like this transition is going to be key for the Giants if they want to fill in that Matt Cain role.
But you look at the starting staff, and Vogelsong, I feel like he's an inconsistent type of starter. Tim Lincecum, I think he's kind of had to bounce back a little. I mean, his last 2 seasons, we can agree it's been kind of awful. This year, he hasn't been too bad. I'm actually pretty impressed with Tim Lincecum. You go to Tim Hudson, I think that was a really good pickup. First half of the season, phenomenal. Second half, it's been kind of shaky, but remember the Giants have not been giving much run support. Michael Morse, he's been kind of slumping a little bit, not really hitting.
Kind of been slumping. He's been in a huge slump.
Yeah. Well.
He's had like 4 hits in the last. He's had like a below 190 average, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs in the last 43 games. That's obviously an issue that the Giants have. This is kind of like a consistent theme with the entire roster right now, that guys are having great first halves of the season. Heading to June 8th, everything was looking beautiful for the Giants. The pitching was incredible. They were helped out by a loss of run support with Michael Morse, Hunter Pence, Buster Posey a little bit in a way, but he's been bouncing back as well after a start to the season where he's batting .260. That's not really that's unheard of from Giants fans, but I feel like everything needs to be a bounce back really soon, and hopefully the something comes on, but. First half of the season is over, and it really comes down to the stretch run. You look at the Rays right now; they're really bouncing back. Although their 9-game winning streak just ended, they're getting on a roll. And with that 9-game winning streak, it's the reason why they might be keeping David Price, who's going to be their leader from the pitching rotation to lead that team to hopefully a wild card. Because as of right now, I see the Blue Jays winning the AL East. Or the Orioles. I see the Orioles and the Rays possibly being in the wild card. But other than that, going on a side note, for the Giants, they need to bounce it back. They need to pull like a Rays that the Rays have been doing the last couple of years. They need to bounce back from a great start, a piss poor sub 500 middle of the season. They need to bounce back in when August starts very soon, and the later months of September, so they can get a good spot into the playoffs. Right now, they're in the wild card race right now. They're in the wild card race, but they're going to be probably playing the Braves as the season ended today. And I don't think the Giants want to play the Braves. Braves are a really good team that released a below decent second baseman in Dan Uggla, and they still owe him about $18 million for the next year and a half.
$18 million for a guy that's batting a 162, pretty bad. But Steven, I gotta say, when you look at the NL West, I mean the Dodgers, they have come up strong, and there's been a lot of trade rumors they're gonna maybe go after Cole Hamels and add more depth to that starting rotation, maybe some more offense in there. But, I mean, Steven, the Dodgers, they're stacking up pretty well this season. I mean, they got pretty much 4 outfielders, and it's hard to transition all 4 of them into that starting lineup. Matt Kemp has talked about trades, trying to get him, just wants to get he wants to be an everyday starter. Well, he's been getting it at LA, but Puig has been hitting off strong. They have D. Gordon, who's a speed monster for the Dodgers, and he can just pretty much steal any base he wants. The NL West, I mean, it's pretty much going to come down to the Giants and the Dodgers. I'm sorry, but the Diamondbacks, Padres, and the Rockies are just all struggling. And even talking about the Rockies, I talked about the whole scenario on ASU, I think it was like day 6, about the Tulowitzki, the jersey. That was really, really funny. Jeez, I feel bad for Troy Tulowitzki. He still has trade talks going.
Pretty much in the NL West, it's going to be a 2-team race throughout the way. Honestly, even though the Padres are in 3rd place, they might have a chance, and all, but, their distances are very, there's a long distance dark horse, just out of the blue type of scenario if that's the case. But it's going to be a 2-team race. Right now, the Dodgers are red hot. They have the best pitcher in the game in Clayton Kershaw, who is unstoppable. He is... what he does and for every single start is just incredible. In terms of Their pitching, it goes past Clayton Kershaw. It can also go to Zach Greinke and go to Jin Ryu or
Ryu.
Ryu. But those three pitchers are going to be the core of the rotation, and then their hitting is still fantastic. Adrian Gonzalez, his numbers have dipped, but he's still, in my opinion, one of the best hitters in the National League. As his age has, gone up in ways. Hanley Ramirez is healthy. Yasviel Puig is just Puig. Matt Kemp is starting to hit now. There's a lot of up to look for this Dodgers team, and they might be looking for a second NL West title in a row. So the Giants definitely on caution and should be on caution because this Dodgers team, when they're hot, they're going to be really hot, and this is not going to be good if the Giants are going to continue with this sub-500 streak that they've been having since early June.
And something like, just interesting, 28-28 at home. I'm a little disappointed in that. I think this team should have, the Giants have such a great fan base, and they bring a lot of energy, but, there's something, I want to bring up a point here. The Giants in 2010, let's go back to 2010 for a bit. First half, this was kind of the first half they kind of struggled. They call up Buster Posey, makes a huge impact, and they pretty much win the NL West on the last day of the regular season. I think the Giants could potentially pull something like that. I think it's going to be Giants torture. Whether the Giants fans like it or not, it's torture for all of us. Watching them play every day, and then they're slumping right now. They're having a bad June and July.
Of course. Don Barney?
Yes.
The Cubs?
Yes, he got traded.
Yeah, he got traded to the Dodgers. So the Dodgers, while the Giants are slumping, they're continuing to add depth into their infield, into their outfield. Well, the outfield is already stacked. It's they got Scott Van Slyke, who is a good power hitter, but he's inconsistent. He's a roller coaster. Andre Ethier, you have Van Slyke and Ethier on the bench right now. So pretty much your three starters for as of right now. Crawford is in and out. I don't think Crawford, his numbers are definitely down from what it was before he was traded to the Red Sox from the Rays. But, I don't see his future is very bleak, in my opinion, for Carl Crawford. I can see, I shouldn't be talking about next year, but Carl Crawford should be on caution if he wants to continue his baseball career because I don't see him. His future is very bleak with me. I don't think that with the numbers that he's producing and with the reduced speed that he's been having, he's stealing bases then and there, but he doesn't have the speed that Puig has, that he had back in the day when he was with the Devil Rays. That's how far back he's been, but it's a concern, and we might see Andre Ethier coming in and probably playing left because Matt Kemp, he's a center fielder. Puig is now in center field per Don Mattingly's decision, but Kemp prefers right field, so Andre Ethier will have to move to left if he wants to get any playing time along with Scott Van Slyke. So for right now, it's going to be Crawford, Puig, and Kemp in the 7, 8, 9 holes in the outfield. So it's gonna be fun to watch, but it's not good for the Giants. If the Giants keep slipping and starting to lose games, the first thing in the Giants game was the definition of what's been going on lately, just sloppy play. Madison Bumgarner got hit on by the Pirates, and the Pirates, even though I feel like they're not the team that they were last year, but they're still wild card contenders at the most, and they beat up Madison Bumgarner in the first inning. They made him throw over 40 pitches. It's a real concern.
And it is a big concern when you look at it. This pitching staff is pretty scary. Zach Greinke has 12 wins this season. Clayton Kershaw's ERA. It says it all. 1.76 ERA. This guy does not give up pretty much any runs every game, and he did a complete game shutout, a complete game 2-hitter shutout against the Giants. That was awful. And Clayton Kershaw, I think he's really figured out the Giants rotation, but you got Clayton Kershaw, Josh Beckett, Zach Greinke, you got Ryu and Dan Herron. This squad is stacked with talent on that pitching staff. It's it's hard to see the Giants just kind of slumping like this. This was the hottest team going into June. This was a team that was 8 games above the Los Angeles Dodgers, and then they slump, and now the Giants are a game and a half back. That's how much baseball can change in a matter of instant, yeah. And the Giants, well, the bats need to get moving. The pitching staff maybe is a little bit of the cause, but I gotta say the bats need to come alive.
And with that, let's take a transition off of the Giants. When we come back, we'll be talking about the other Bay Area team and the Oakland A's, and their streak. They just keep on getting better with their small payroll and all. When we come back to Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show here on Spreaker.com in affiliation with the National Sports Radio Station.
Your presentation of the Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Talk will continue right after this. But during the commercial break, head over to the Facebook page and like it for daily updates in Bay Area sports. Your show will be right back in 30 seconds.
Hello and welcome back to Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show here on Spreaker.com in affiliation with National Sports. I'm Robert Deers alongside me, Steven Hughes. And Steven, what are we transitioning into?
We're transitioning into the wild AL West. The AL West has been an absolute travesty in some sorts. Thinking about the Rangers, just thinking about where they were, just say 3 years ago, from the AL pennant winners to dead last place. And everything. They're worse than the Astros, but that's just me blabbering. But it's the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, they're not doing the catch up game anymore. They are starting strong and they're just coasting right now. The best record in Major League Baseball. Power rankings for ESPN saying that they're number 1. Yes, the list goes on. They did lose to Houston tonight, 7-3, but I don't think that's any of their concern because they are just flying high. Even if the Los Angeles Angels are creeping on them on a game and a half back, still the A's are just incredible right now. With a 34-17 at home record, their run differentials at plus 166, which is by far the best in the major leagues. They're the only team with triple-digit run differential for them. It's unbelievable. And Vance Worley, the former Philly for the Pirates, just threw a complete Game 4 hitter against the Giants. So if you guys want to know that, the torture is real. But looking at this, Seattle was actually. I heard Seattle's in the race to get John Lester. They're trying to get him. But as of right now, it looks like the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Angels are kind of like in the National League West. Where it's just a 2-team race with the third-place team 11 or 12 games behind. For Seattle to really come back and I think all they got their bleak chances for a wild card spot. For the looks of things, they do have a chance, but as of right now, the Angels have the commanding lead in the AL wild card. But maybe Seattle can. Seattle's only 2 games back out of a spot in the American League wild card game if the season ended today, with Toronto in second place. But how do you see things out, Robert? Do you think that Seattle could have the chance, or do you think Los Angeles and Oakland will take over and just kind of run them over when the divisional games really come through during the final stretch of the season?
Steven, I really see in that wild card battle. I think I could see the Angels and the Seattle Mariners fighting for one game. That would be really interesting to watch. I think that AL West is a pretty strong division. I think when I know Ian, Isaac, and Jeremy have been talking about the Seattle Mariners, this team has really just been trying to push to make the playoffs, and this team's getting hot right now. So watch out. Robinson Cano has been having a hot bat, and then of course they have King Felix, who's been solid. And to be honest, no one's really talked about King Felix. It's all the fame's been on Clayton Kershaw this year. But King Felix has really just been the captain of that squad.
Oh yeah, King Felix. He's one of the more consistent pitchers in all of baseball. He's just been showing himself throughout his entire career, I should say. And let's just go now straight to the A's, because the Mariners are the Mariners. They have their own issues. Right now, let's talk about the A's. The A's, they have none of their starters. None of their main contributors are really hitting below 500. Like Derek Norris, he's at 295. He's close. He's creeping. But Josh Donaldson, a lot of people have heard of him. He's batting 246. Coco Crisp, he's batting 274. Brandon Moss, who leads the team with 23 home runs, he's batting 260. This team, not the big, not really great in the batting average category, but in terms of power and driving in runs, that's the entree pretty much. That's the cherry on top of their offense. They're a power offense team. Brian Moss, 23 home runs, that leads the team. Yoenis Cespedes, 17. Josh Donaldson, 22 home runs. Then RBIs wise, there's some counterbalance to Derek Norris with 40 RBIs, John Jace with 38, Coco Crisp with 32, and then their power hitters, 71 RBIs, so 66 RBIs, 73 RBIs. What do you see, Robert? Do you think that this team could possibly go past the AL Divisional Series, as they've been stopped the last two seasons by the Tigers?
I still remember going to Game 5 against Justin Verlander, and I felt bad for Oakland because they make it so far and they can't get the job done. But I think this offense, this team, yes, only a 274 is your highest batting average, but they could drive in runs, which is they have 494 RBIs this season and have 109 home runs. And Moss's boss this season for the Oakland A's with 23. Surprised he wasn't in the home run derby. Josh Donaldson was in there, though. But I got to say, Josh Donaldson, Yoenis Cespedes, and Moss have really just been key contributors this season. Craig Gentry just got on the DL today, so a little bit of sad news for you. But also, Jed Lowry has not been a bad player. 5 homers, 40 RBIs, batting at 243. And Alberto Callaspo, he was on the DL for a while, but he's going to come back off. But, the batting averages, it can be a concern, but I think, out of the Oakland A's, I got to say, I like Brandon Moss. He brings so much power, and he can drive in runs when you need him the most. He's a guy that's pretty much good in runners in scoring position, and he knows what to do in those situations. Yoenis Cespedes, he just plays great defense. His arm is amazing, and we saw that this season. He threw a baseball pretty much more than a football, pretty much I think it was 120 yards, a little bit over a football field, and forget what game that was, but tagged someone out.
It was against the Angels. He tagged out Eric Ibar.
Got out Eric Ibar at the plate, and it was with 0.08 seconds left to tag him. I was actually from Sports Science, by the way. That's the only reason why I know that. But the Oakland A's, man, this team.
For ESPN Sports Science, I'm John Brankus. Hi!
John Brankus.
Yeah, John Brankus. But,
they had Matt Kemp on that, too.
Oh, yeah. And then they also had James Loney for a little wiffle ball, a little Sports Science thing.
Oh, jeez.
That was fun to watch. Yeah, check that out, guys. Just look it up on YouTube. That's a lot of fun stuff if you're into sports and you want to kind of go into the mind of, if a major leaguer can hit off a wiffle ball pitcher. But, I'm just going off. But, with the limited amount of time we have left, we got like 5 minutes left in the show. Let's just do a quick rundown of what we see out of some what to see, what to expect in the next couple months. So let's start with the San Francisco 49ers. As training camp begins, let's start with Robert.
The San Francisco 49ers, I mean, this team has a strong wide receiver core. When you got Stevie Johnson, Michael Crabtree, Anquan Bowling, Quinn Patton, Brandon Floyd, and that wide receiver core, you could just name down a list of guys that I think will be key contributors. But we've had some news, and it hasn't been that great. Running back position, Kendall Hunter out for the season. LaMichael James out for a month, and LaMichael James is supposedly fighting for a job right now. I mean, Marcus Lattimore, they're not rushing him at all. So far, Frank Gore and Carlos Hyde, the rookie we just drafted, are the only two guys that are really active. They just re-signed someone. He was an ex-Cardinal. It was today. I gotta look that up.
Andre Ellington.
Not Andre Ellington. He played all 16 games last season, though.
You did?
Alfonso. He isn't really a big name.
I'll look it up, but keep talking.
Colin Kaepernick, me and Steven. Steven pretty much convinced me to not like Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, they're just, I'll take you from there. It's just, ever since I didn't feel like he was a fit. I knew that, what he brought to the table for the Niners would have been, it was good. It was great that Jim Harbaugh was able to change his playbook to what he wanted it when he transferred to the NFL with Colin Kaepernick and all. But at the same time, I think that I didn't feel like I don't think like what he does for this team for this Niners team is enough. I feel like he does the bare minimum. You can see it from the Seattle game. He can do much more. He can make better passes. His decision making and all is just a little bit questionable at times. But he still thinks he's the greatest. He's like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just don't see it. I'm disappointed that the Niners gave him such a big extension, but I'm just blabbering. I'm just saying I'm not a supporter of Colin Kaepernick. I'm a big Niners fan, but not a big Colin Kaepernick supporter. And then what else? You want to talk a little NBA?
Golden State. I mean, they made some news. I mean, we fired Mark Jackson and got Steve Kerr out of nowhere, and then Klay Thompson's been in trade talks.
Yeah, thinking about who was supposed to Steve Kerr the entire time was supposed to be linked to the New York Knicks. Throughout the playoffs in the NBA playoffs a few months ago, but then he makes some moves to go to Golden State. Things are looking good. He's very defensive with Klay Thompson in any Kevin Love trade talks. Now the Cavaliers cannot trade Andrew Wiggins until August 23rd because once you sign a rookie, you can't trade him for 30 days. So now the Cavaliers are on hold for that. So everything is just it's just weird. Now the Bulls are in the talks to get Kevin Love. Everything is just moving out. Now Derrick Rose, he just started practicing for Team USA as the U.S. team are preparing for the FIBA World Cup, the inaugural World Cup of basketball in Spain. So what do you expect out of Derrick Rose? I want your opinion, Rob, because we haven't seen him really play in 3 seasons. He only played 10 games last year until he torn his meniscus in his knee against the Trailblazers early in the season.
I gotta say, Derrick Rose is probably gonna be comeback player of the year in the NBA. I think he's gonna play a lot of games this year. I think he's gonna at least, I gotta say, at least 70 games this year. I gotta say he's gonna struggle a little bit, but we're getting towards the end of our show, unfortunately. But thank you all for listening. I know we do our Bay Area sports talk, and it was good to talk some baseball and a little bit of football and some NBA.
We need to do this more often.
Yes, we do need to do this more often.
We didn't do this all summer. We pretty much wasted 2 months. We wasted 2 months playing too much FIFA and all. But I have my final say because I won't be seeing Robert until he leaves for camp. So this is I'm gonna do a show. We're not ending on 30 minutes, bro. Settle down.
We're not ending on 30 minutes.
No,
we could do it exactly.
No, screw it. So this can be my final statement because, I might do a show. No, I won't be able to do a show. So, to all the guys that are going to be at the sports broadcasting camp in Los Angeles, have a great time. I'll be speaking at the meetings probably. I'll probably be on Skype and all. I'll be like, oh,
He'll be on the shows.
Yeah, I'll be on the. I'll be kind of on the shows. Not really. I'll be more of a guest. I'll let the guys do their thing like we did last year. I'll be pitching in a little bit, talking about a little NASCAR, turning to the left and all. But just hope you guys have a great time. I'm gonna know a lot. I'm gonna have familiar names that I'm gonna be talking to, hopefully, and hopefully I'll come down to Southern California. In the near future, and see some of the local guys that have been going to camp, like Nick Rice, Cameron Sadeghi,
Jason Garline.
Jason Garline, just punch him in the face, just a little, Brian Stowe. I'm just kidding. No, that's really us.
Whoa, you're going a little too far. It's not like the Seattle Sonics.
Yeah, poor color right there. But I really want to meet you guys. I've been really busy and all. But I hope you guys have a great time. I have lots of fun. Have a little fun with Shelly Smith. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Robert. I'm really jealous of you guys. I've been jealous of you for the last couple of years, ever since Robert has been going down there and spending a lot of fun at UCLA. But for me, for myself, I'll be trying to do some shows until the start of college for me. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for having me on, Robert, and let's do the show when you come back. So I actually legitimately gotta leave the premises because I got things to do. Life is calling for me. So thank you guys very much, and I'll do a show. Sometime, and go Raiders. I'm just kidding. Go Niners.
We didn't even talk about the Raiders, but either way.
Actually, Niners are playing the Raiders this year.
I wonder who's going to get shot. Well, we'll find out. But
you're going to have that section in the nosebleeds that's just literally going to be bleeds. Because there are going to be lots of red. Yeah.
Okay, as a Niners
pun.
So, Steven, if we got 2 free tickets to go to this game at Oakland,
would I go?
Would we go?
I wouldn't wear a Niner gear because I'm not trying to get shot. I'm not going to try to get shot.
What if someone asked you if you're a Niners fan? Would you lie?
I would lie.
But what if he was a Niners fan?
I would say yes.
Alright. But if it's a Raiders fan, you say no.
Yeah, I'd be like, please God.
I'll be like, I love Tracy Porter. I'll be like, alright, you're a Raiders fan.
Darren McFadden, Jamarcus Russell,
Jamarcus Russell, the biggest bust ever. But, Steven, we're going to miss you, dude. We want you to go to camp, but me and Nick, we're gonna have that. I'll be on
Skype, and you're gonna have your mission statement and all your.
Yeah, we gotta think of that. Think of an idea for that.
You want me to help you out? That's such an honor. Oh my God, I'm helping Robert's mission statement. Yay! Yeah, I'll help you out with that if you need me. Don't be like, to my fellow SBC summer mates. It's time to re-elect me. Oh yeah, this is your final year. Never mind. This is the final year.
You're not supposed to say that.
Why? Why?
I was supposed to be at the camp.
Oh really? Is that?
It's gonna be not my last year, but it will be my. Okay, it will be my last year at camp. Yes, it will be. I'm not as president, but you don't have to know about that just yet. But.
Ooh, that's awkward.
That is awkward, but
this is your last. No, let's just say that this is your last. I'm just joking. He's gonna be. Nah, it's actually too late. Whatever.
No, we are joking.
Yeah, we are. Well, yeah,
they can't see that we're laughing inside.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. It's more like we're gonna be traveling everywhere, but at the same time,
he keeps on saying I'm gonna get reelected. He says I'm gonna lose an election to him. So. We'll find out. Maybe Steven's the new president. You never know.
Oh yeah, right. I'm not. If you see me as a president, I have no time. I have no time to be the president. I can't get track of the money that you guys send me from Connecticut or Maine or
New Jersey.
South Dakota or whatever.
Or from Africa.
Do we have anyone from Africa?
No, that'd be interesting though.
That would be really interesting. I think everybody's from America. So.
America.
That's weird.
Steven's gonna be working on becoming a baseball player, and hear his name, because you're gonna hear Steven Hughes a lot. Probably get drafted one day.
If anyone's in Yountville, from July 30th to August 3rd, I'll be playing a baseball tournament, the California State Senior Baseball Tournament. I'll be playing for the San Mateo Post 82 Shockers. Shock 'em, and come out and watch us play. And there's gonna be a lot of college scouts. There's gonna be a lot of great baseball. There are 8 teams in it, and only one team's gonna be able to go to regionals and surprise Arizona. So I hope you guys come out. If anyone's listening out there from Yountville or close to Yountville, just come out and watch some good baseball. Good amateur 18-year-olds. Fighting for a spot to go to Arizona and just go to more heat.
I think Steven could get it. I mean, he's going to be near Chico. They're having weird weather, so my dad said. So have fun with thunder and lightning and a lot of some rain.
Wasn't that Tahoe? Wasn't that Truckee?
No, I wasn't in Truckee. I was in South Lake Tahoe. But Steven,
okay, fine, whatever. Stop being butthurt.
I'm not being butthurt.
Oh yeah, and then go Inter Milan. Great win against Real Madrid on Saturday.
Geez.
Yeah, I bought their.
He's got to brag it in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got to brag it in. I bought their jersey before the game.
I bought Real Madrid's.
Yeah, you bought the white one. Kobe bought the pink one. The pink one.
I didn't want to match. Okay,
I
wanted to be.
20 for life. All right.
Didn't want to
go. See ya.
All right, hey man, I will see you in like 2 weeks.
All right.
2 weeks. I'm not gonna see Steven. It's gonna hurt, but
shut up.
We'll live.
It's not gonna hurt.
We'll live.
Yeah,
we'll live.
Out. Peace out.
Have fun in Yountville.
Oh yeah, guys, just think about this. Close your eyes and imagine a studio that I'm walking out of. It is a studio. Everybody be jealous right now.
Yes. All right. See you later, Steven. That was really loud, but either way. We're going to wrap up this show. Thanks for listening to Deits and Steven's All Out Sports Show. We're hopefully going to be on in a couple of weeks, but me and Steven can always do our own thing on probably the big days at camp. I'm already kind of giving you insight to this. You guys should be very happy, but you guys, you have a great night. God bless you, and Giants, stop torturing us, get a win, and win the NL West. Good night.